Okay, so I want to make a quick disclaimer. This video could run a little bit long, and that's just because I'm going into this with no script, no anything, and I got a good little bit to cover, so I'm going to try and blow through it. But let me go ahead and start off with, I didn't forget about last week. There were no technical issues or anything. As we last left off, I was talking about how I was going to be taking about 3 cheat days. This is going to be starting on Thursday, and then it was going to be Friday, and then Saturday. And originally, I went into it with the mindset of I'm just going to try and go off of the system that I wanted to do, which was I would have the cheat meals, get the last little bit out of the way. Like I wanted to do some Mexican, like a Mexican restaurant. I wanted to do boneless wings, and I wanted to try anything new that had come out that I hadn't yet had the opportunity to try. I went ahead and accomplished that, and it was all very, very amazing, all very, very worth taking time off for. But then mentally, I woke up on Sunday morning, and I said to myself, don't weigh yourself. Just skip this week, get back on scale the following week, and you'll be better. Because I knew what I'd be looking at. I knew that it would be a gain. I wasn't sure how much it would be, and I knew that I wasn't going to be very, very happy with what I would have seen. But then the secondary mindset in my head said, hang on a second, before you have breakfast this morning, maybe you should weigh yourself just for the scientific side of things. And I really shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. Because when I got onto the scale, the number that I saw was devastating to me, and it made me really, really think about things. How 3 simple days can just totally ruin me, and it hurt. It hurt a lot, to the point of where it just took my whole wanting to make a video, and just the idea of coming on and just disappointing people just absolutely was not on my radar of what I wanted to do. And it sucked. So, in order to avoid disappointing and to just kind of pretend things didn't happen, I opted to skip a week and come back when I could have some better news or something actually progressive to talk about. And I didn't determine something progressive to talk about really about that week until like way late in the week. Did I finally have something to like actually talk about that is something I can take away? So at that point, I was already at a mental state of let's just put it into next week. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into the present of what's going on and where we're at. Because I do not want to go into what that number was. That number does not matter. That number is just evil to me because it was a combination of a lot of different things. And like I said, it's in the past. At this point, that number does not matter. What number I have today and this morning is the one that really matters. 2 weeks ago, we weighed in at 274.4. And as of this morning, I weighed in at 272.2. down 2.2 pounds in 2 weeks. If we were just to like say that was a 1 week, which essentially is what it was, then yeah, that was a good week. But that's an average of only 1.1 pound for the 2 weeks. And that is the part that kills me. And the part that I kind of want to talk about. Having these cheat days, although nice, is something that I gotta try and figure out how I want to do. Having 3 days back to back to back like that obviously isn't the answer because of what happened. So I gotta try and figure out what is the best course of approach for having some little breaks. And I think mentally the best way to do it would be just to have one meal and then maybe one snack later on that day. Just doing like a dinner and then one little more snack, and that's it. I think that's about the only way that I could go about it and not see these numbers reappear. essentially I'm still restricting how much carbs I'm bringing into my body, but I'm still able to enjoy things once a month. I think that's the only way that I can really go about it, but I don't know come October 2nd, I think is going to be the next day that I would do this, and maybe I'll skip it. I don't know. I haven't totally decided yet. I'm still a little hurt after his last one. A little nervous if that is how I want to do it, but I want to know how it would affect me in general. I can't give you any more honey. You've already had too much of that. If I had milk, I'd give you milk, but I cannot give you that. I love you so much, but I cannot. If he wasn't diabetic, things would be different, but I cannot give him any more of this. I just cannot. I love you so much. We'll see you next week. But here's the mentality that I have with everything, okay? Is I just had a 2.2 pound loss over 2 weeks. That first week, I had the negative progress, and then I had to use a whole nother week to try and regain that ground back again. That is essentially 2 weeks of halted progress, just so I could have 3 days off. That's not okay. That is really not okay. 3 days for 14 recovery days. That just sucks. That sucks a lot. And I will never, ever reach another milestone at a pace like that, because I'd be essentially losing half a month for a cheat day. And I would like to lose it at a much faster rate than that. I would not like to be on keto forever. I would like to be able to do it intermittently at one point, but I would not like to stay on this diet forever. That's the part that I hate, is that it's just more. I essentially lost 2 weeks of potential progress that could have been like for another 5 pounds. I could be down more right now had I not done anything. And if we were at another 5 pounds down, guess what? We would have been in the 260 range instead of still being with 270 something. The good news is that even despite having that huge setback in the recovery week, I was still able to lose all of that plus another 2.2 pounds, which, like I said, I won't get into what that number was, but it's impressive that I was able to punish myself enough and do that much recovery to make that possible. I didn't think that was going to be a possibility to do. So I'm very proud of myself that I was able to do that. So let's go ahead and get some silver lining going and like pat myself on the back for something. Just going forward, I got to monitor how in the heck I could go about these cheat days and how to better make sure it's not going to have that big of a footprint. It's rough when you look at a gain and you're just like, I have to make all that ground back up, because I go back to like when I was in middle school and I started losing weight for the first time, and I was down 50 pounds from 250. I had finally gotten to 198, and I was like so proud of myself for that moment. Then I was like, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to stop. This is where I want to maintain. Never weighed myself again. Next time I weighed myself, I was almost 250, 300 pound range, somewhere in there. And I was like, you stupid idiot. You lost all your progress. And it was just a flashback to that. I felt like I had lost every last little bit of progress for a good chunk. And I don't want to go about that. I want to be able to hold on to this progress and keep the positive momentum going, because it is a major mental setback when you see just that much progress lost, and you're like, I have to regain that off. So, but at least I was able to mentally say to myself, just get back on this and just use it to fuel yourself for the next week. Don't let it set you back. Don't let it make you want to go back into stress eating or something. Use it to fuel yourself, which I was able to do, and obviously very successfully. So I'm very, very happy that is how things went, and we came back strong for another 2.2 pound loss. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I'm looking forward to having a really, really solid week this week, doing the same thing yet again. Because as much as I had losses last week, obviously, if redoing it again should be fine. But the portions are still down. Water consumption is skyrocketing. I'm doing everything right, I'm pretty sure. Coconut oil consumption is also up. I spaced the coconut oil consumption to like bulk in the morning, and then I have a little bit more in the afternoon just to try and keep it going all the time. This is just a rough 2 weeks mentally, and just like I said, I'm sorry I didn't make anything last week. But if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I know we get taught that as kids, and that is very much where I was last week, because I just didn't really have anything nice to say. I didn't have anything to like learn off of or anything. It's just, if you want to take your days off, make sure you do it with that in mind, that anything you put back in you, that you have to be ready to lose right back off again. And I still wish I had some sort of regular metabolism. God, I wish I had some sort of regular metabolism, because it just doesn't exist. But regardless, a new record, down to 272.2, which is absolutely lovely. I feel like we could get to 269 next week. I think that's possible. That'd be really, really nice if we could get there, or even a little bit further. But I think that is going to do it for this week. Like I said, I think this is up there with one of the longer ones, but just had a little bit more to talk about this week. So hopefully you guys learned something, and I will see you guys back here next week. Good night.